should have remembered.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Partners in Crime.
Our new podcast about Law and Order Criminal Intent.
So I'm Shawna.
And I'm Annie.
And you may be familiar with our previous podcast, A Lost Cause, where we talk about the show Lost. So we've just finished that and have now moved on to our Law and Order Criminal Intent podcast. So welcome. This is our very first episode.
So actually, I think we should just kind of give an introduction to the show itself.
Yes.
Because this is our first time talking about it. So the show is really unique. It's very different from a lot of different Law and Order.
Yeah, so the Law and
series.
Order
It is a spin-off
franchise. There's like the regular, just Law and Order, which I think was one of the most long-running shows in history.
I think you're thinking of SVU.
Well, but it all started with
Yes.
Law and Order, and it ran for many years too. And then we had, kind of spin-offs, I guess you could say. So Law and Order Criminal Intent. The most popular spin-off was
Special Victims Unit.
Yeah.
And there's many other ones. But this is our little hidden gem.
And just to clarify, we're not doing the Law and Order Criminal Intent Toronto.
No.
Which is currently on.
This one's the one that started in the year 2000.
Yeah, so the OG, starring Vincent D'Onofrio.
And Catherine Irby.
Yes.
And
I think we should just say right off the bat, you're checking it out. You're like, do I want to watch this podcast? You should know from the outset, we are shippers.
Yeah.
We ship Robert Gorin and Alex Eames.
Yeah.
So
just warning you there.
Yeah. But how this podcast is going to work is we've decided to kind of do our top 20 episodes. And so
we might add on,
Yeah, but that's the original plan. And so every week we talk about an episode, and we're doing it chronologically as well, more or less.
Yeah, sort of.
So our first episode we're going to talk about is called Phantom, and
Yes.
it's from season 1.
This one is very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, and maybe explain why.
Yeah, so if you're coming from the Lost podcast, this one's actually a good one to start with because it's what started me on my criminal intent obsession, just fueled, uncontrollable obsession, but because my favorite Lost character is Ben Linus, and I really liked the actor, and so Shawna somehow...
Because this is at a time when Annie only wants to watch Lost. She wants to just rewatch it. She doesn't want to watch Bob's Burgers anymore. It's
Nothing.
Only Lost.
Yeah, only Lost. Just kind of
tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, and I don't even know how you...
Well, one night I was like, well, do you want to watch... Because, she was aware that her dad and I like this show called Law and Order Criminal Intent. So then one night I just said, do you want to watch the episode with Michael Emerson? And she was like, sure. And so it began.
Yep. And Shawna remembers me saying oh, I like this,
Yeah, and particularly the Gorin character. She was like, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah. So, and Michael Emerson just blew it away, that episode. He was just so good. So good.
So it's a great one to start with. So let's just give a
and
little...
And looking back, when you know all what's good in the show, it's so good.
It's kind of hitting...
We just finished watching
hitting all the notes. Yeah. So maybe let's just give a bit of a plot summary, just so people kind of know what the episode is about.
Yeah, go. You can start it off.
So how it always goes with Law and Order Criminal Intent is for the first about 10 minutes, you have no idea what's going on, right? It's just these clips of different people. You don't know how they're connected to each other. You kind of feel like, I'm not following this. But then it all makes sense. So basically, this guy gets out of jail. He's looking for this woman named Charlotte Fielding. He ends up getting himself killed. And so this is what starts the investigation.
And I would like to say that if you're watching, it's hard to get into the show because you can't be scrolling on your phone while watching it. You have to actually commit to it.
Yeah, you got to pay attention.
Because there's so much information that you can miss. And, they really don't spell it out for you. You have to catch on and, like, understand what's happening. So,
and this is something I really appreciate about the show, is that it gives the audience a lot of credit, and kind of assumes, that the audience is intelligent enough
it's
to kind of
for smart people.
follow along and piece everything together. So the distinguishing sort of feature of Criminal Intent, it's the major case squad. Whereas like the regular Law and Order, it's just the 227. It's just kind of a regular police unit. But major case, they only get called in when it's like someone important or some matter of public interest. I'm not exactly sure why they got called in on this one, because it was just a guy who got out of jail. But anyway, they get on the case. So eventually the trail leads to this Charlotte Fielding. They find her. They discover that Charlotte Fielding is in fact the victim's sister. And she's
takes a while for them to figure out.
Yeah. Also, that character, Charlotte Fielding, is played by, oh dear, I'm just blank, Cara Buono, I think it is, and you would know her better as the mom from Stranger Things. Anyway, so then she mentions like her boyfriend is this guy who works for the United Nations, and he's like a very famous economist. And so now they're trying to track him down to try to, find out about this murder. And what do they discover about the economist?
That he's a fake.
Yeah, he's not who he says he is.
Yes.
He says that, he's at some conference like with Bono. They don't mention him by name, but the rock star that's trying to eliminate third world debt. So clearly a Bono reference. We love U2, by the way. So.
We're big U2 fans.
So that's why this episode is like it kind of has it all.
It's so good. It's so good. The only thing that could make it better would be if they went undercover
and pretended to be a couple.
Yes,
we love that.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, no opportunity for that here, but very intriguing that they discover that not only does this guy Gerald Rankin not work for the UN, but he hasn't worked for 16 years. And he spends every day just kind of hanging around, killing time. And so what is his deal?
Okay, so his deal is that he manages the trust funds or whatever of the family, or of like...
Well, it started with his family.
Yes.
So his
we don't have birds, that's a clock.
Yeah, his in-laws... his own parents' savings, and then that is how Charlotte Fielding kind of enters the scene. Just so that the connection is her brother had all this money from some kind of heist. It ends up with Charlotte. She invests it with this Jerry Rankin. And is he investing the money?
No, he's just using it to, support his family that he has on the side, and... he's like a really bad guy.
He's just living off of the money.
Yeah.
So in the investigation, they figure out that the victim, they see two little kind of dots and they're burn marks. And what happens is the killer kind of zaps them with a stun gun.
Taser.
And then stabs them. So that's how he killed the first victim. So then they start to really suspect this Jerry Rankin. And then the next thing you know, Charlotte Fielding ends up left for dead. She's actually survived, but the telltale marks are there as well.
Yeah.
So it's all starting to close in on Jerry because, he's connected now with this murder. There's suspicion. And then what happens to really set him off? There's a birthday party.
Yeah, there's a birthday party, and the dad, his dad, is like, we're gonna go on a cruise. So he wants to take money out of these funds, which probably hasn't been done for who knows how long.
So, because this money's been invested. And the cover story is because he works at the UN, he can put the money in a Swiss bank account at really high rates of interest. But, his parents decide they're going to go on this cruise. They need $10,000. And what's the problem with that?
Well, he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
Of course he doesn't have it.
Yeah, and so he took $400,000 from Charlotte Fielding, blew it, like spent it. Now his dad wants $10,000. He can't come up with it. So it's like all closing in. And then they discover his first murder, which was actually who?
His own stepdad.
Or father-in-law.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And what happened to set that off?
He wanted to buy a cottage.
Yeah. And so it's just sort of like not a great plan, right?
No. And like to think he would be getting away with this and it would never catch up with him is not very realistic thinking.
But he did get away with it for 16 years. Pretended he graduated from Columbia. Pretends that he's working at the UN.
How do you even fake that stuff too?
You know, pretends that he's investing all this money, but they're just living off of it. So I don't know like how he thought it would all turn out, but now he's kind of come to the end. And so Goran is sort of like, I haven't figured this guy out yet.
Mm-hmm. And that's Goran's thing. He can get into the criminal's mind and just like understand their pathology.
Yes.
It's incredible. And that's what makes the show so interesting.
It's his superhero
There's
power.
almost never ever any time that he's defeatable because he just knows how to get to people.
And the reason is, so Robert Goran is a big believer in criminal profiling, that people fit a profile. And so if he can understand something kind of core about them, then the rest kind of gets filled in by the profile. And then his partner, Alex Eames, like a little more just kind of straightforward, very good detective, very good police officer. But they're kind of based on...
Yes, they... And I didn't know this, and I was, like, talking to Shawna, I was like, wait, this is kind of like Sherlock Holmes and
Watson.
John Watson,
Yeah.
and she was like, yeah, that's what they're based off of. So, I mean, it was good of me to...
Yes, figure
and
that
keep
out.
in mind, I had my Sherlock Holmes phase, like, 2023, which is... it. So, I mean, it just kind of feels like everything's been leading up to this.
Yes. So thankfully, Robert Goran figures this guy out just in the nick of time. They go to his house. They're talking to his wife. He's looking at this collage that the kids have made, for their dad. And he kind of realizes, like, he says he must feel very loved. And that's when it kind of clicks.
And you can see it happen. He's just the best actor ever.
Yeah. That he's like, where are your kids? Can you call the school? Just make sure that they're there. And why is he concerned about the kids? What's happened?
They're not at school.
No.
The dad said that they were homesick. And obviously they're not at home. Mm-hmm. So they get her to call him and ask where he is. And yeah, he's like, he's at a hotel. He's going to kill the kids. So it was really, like, that's a really upsetting one to get started with. So...
very, very high suspense episode. So it's got a little bit of everything.
Oh, just like, yeah, that ending scene.
And so how does it end? What happens?
It ends, obviously, they figure out what hotel he's staying in.
And that's really cool, too, because, he's supposedly, like, traveling the world. So then Goran's like, did he bring home any souvenirs from hotels?
No, Eames says that.
Yeah, Eames, sorry. Don't want to take any credit away from Eames because I feel like she sometimes doesn't get enough of the spotlight. And so then, his wife is like, oh yeah, like there's these little shampoo bottles that Natalia uses for her dolls. And so it's like, I think it's Paris Park hotels or something.
And then they get there, and Goran goes in, no one else, and he's not even wearing... like a vest.
Well, he takes off his blazer to sort of show, like, hey, look, I'm not carrying a weapon.
And he just, like, he does the thing.
But explain the scene. He opens the door. What does he see?
He sees the kids are in bed. They're asleep. He's given them, like,
sleep aids.
Sleeping pills or
Yeah.
something. And he's got, like, a gun on them. Like,
Yeah.
a full-on
Shotgun.
hunting rifle
Yeah.
sort of thing. And, when I first watched it, the parallels to that one scene in Lost were insane. So yeah, Goran comes in and he's like, I'm just gonna stand here, and he starts talking, just kind of like actually manipulating him, but to make him feel understood.
Yes.
That's the big like takeaway
This
here.
is Goran's gift, is that he can get inside the criminal's head, and that is how he gets them to confess, or how he manipulates them into doing something. He makes them feel understood, and that, sympathizes with them, right? Like, and so what does he do with Jerry?
Yeah, he just like talks about like how you had to make all these sacrifices for them. You were a hero, blah blah blah. But he messes it up. He doesn't get it all right. Cuz this other woman, he says something like, "Oh, you broke your wedding vows." And then he's like, then Gerald Rankin is like, "No, I didn't." Sorry.
It's
major case.
Yeah, it's major case. It's Deacon's on the phone.
Yeah.
We'll call him back.
But sorry, where was I?
So yeah, like he's hitting all the marks. He's
yes,
like,
but then he says like, "Oh, you broke your wedding vows with this woman," and he's like, "No, I didn't." He loads the rifle.
He just says, "You don't know anything about me."
Yes.
So
which,
then
first of all, is not true. He knows everything about him.
So then Goran's like, oh, I got that one wrong. Okay, I gotta like recover here.
And so yeah, he says like, "No, you did everything for it." And then the kids are in the bed. He goes like, he sits on the bed
That
in
the gun
front
is
of the kids.
Pointed towards.
The gun is an inch away from his face, and he's not looking at the gun. He doesn't look at the gun. He maintains eye contact with Jerry the entire time, and he's just like adding on. And it's a great performance by Michael Emerson, because you can see he's like, yes, this guy gets me. Mm-hmm. And he eventually like kind of moves the gun away, and then as Jerry kind of like lets go a little, he grabs the gun, calls the squad in, everybody comes in, and he's detained. The kids are brought home.
Yeah. And how Goran managed to kind of de-escalate things, is he's like, it wasn't your fault, you had to do this, you made difficult choices, you're a hero. So then it's sort of like, so if I see you this way, like, don't worry, like, your kids are going to understand. You don't have to kill them. I know you couldn't bear for them to look at you with anything but, respect. You couldn't stand to disappoint them and let them down, but they won't be let down. Once they understand what a hero you are, like, don't worry about it. And that's what kind of makes him lower the gun. And so it's just so suspenseful.
It's like, once he gets a grip on the gun, I'm like, I'm fine. Everything is... it's fine and sunshine and rainbows, because it is so suspenseful. And obviously when I'm watching it, I mean, he doesn't die. The main character doesn't get shot.
But it's still suspenseful.
Yeah.
And even Goran, like, seems so calm. But then once he's, like, unloading the gun, you see that it was very traumatic for him and very stressful. And he's kind of just coming down from that. So,
yeah.
So great episode.
Just great, yeah.
Highly recommend. So now we're going to just...
So actually, before we start our, like...
segments.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should kind of unpack kind of more of the characters. Because there's other characters than just the two of them.
So let's talk about the main cast.
Yeah, let's talk about the main cast. So Goran, he usually has a very unique way of doing things. Mm-hmm. And lots of viewers don't like that and find it annoying because they're too limited to see. And
it's kind of a love him or hate him thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I only love him, so I...
And I do think that Criminal Intent is just like an art. It's just an art.
Well, because like Annie was saying, you really have to pay attention.
Oh, yeah. And every time you watch something, you take away something new that you missed.
Because the episodes are just so well researched. Like, whatever it's about, they just pack so much information into it.
So much information.
And it's just like every episode is like a movie, kind of. So I think it's very underrated. But so that's Goran. He's the lead.
Well, that's not exactly true.
I mean, I think it is, though.
He's not the senior partner.
Yes, but he's Sherlock, right?
Yes, and he is the protagonist.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Eames.
Eames is his partner, and
we love Eames.
She's probably my favorite of the two. Shawna's not gonna ever forgive me for that.
No, you go ahead and love Eames. I mean, Goran's my guy, but
yeah, she's great. She's like just so patient.
And really like no nonsense.
Yes. And she, they just kind of they just go together well.
And that's why this podcast is called Partners in Crime, because the partners, it's sort of like a nod at our shipping tendencies, but also just this wonderful partnership between Goran and Eames.
Yeah, I always say they're probably each other's emergency contact.
Mm-hmm.
And,
definitely, yeah.
But another thing about Eames is, like, she can be very sarcastic.
Mm-hmm. Which I love.
Yes,
yeah,
we love that. And
and she's kind of petite, and so, you might think, oh, she's a bit more, whatever, like, weaker or something, but she's very, like I said, no nonsense, very tough.
Yeah, and she comes from a family of cops. Her dad was like a very not successful cop, but
got the job done. She was married to we find this out later. Her
married
also,
to a cop. But
was he a cop or a detective?
No, a cop, but
okay,
he died.
Yeah, he died. So she's a widow. She worked in Vice before Major Case.
And that's kind of
of it. But she's great.
Yeah.
And then who is their captain?
Their captain for the first 5 seasons, I think, is James Deacon, or James Deacons.
Yeah,
my bad.
That's okay.
And he's great. We love Deacons, and you really don't appreciate how good he is until he's gone, because there's 10 seasons.
It's true. Like, he's just sort of there in the background. Sometimes he seems like kind of a dumb guy. It's like
I feel like he sometimes thinks that he's babysitting them.
Yeah. But he often just wants to go in the obvious sort of wrong direction of the investigation, and sometimes you think, like, boy.
Because, Goran and Eames never miss a detail. They always, like, do their research.
And they want to find the right person.
Yes.
They don't want to just tie up the loose ends and, like, make it look good on paper. They want to make sure they get it right. Which is sometimes, I think, Deacons is just sort of like, well, whatever. Like, the evidence is there. Let's just arrest this person. Mm-hmm. But that's not good enough because, they want justice.
Mm-hmm. But he's great.
He's a good captain.
Yeah, and I know he's married, but that's kind of all we know about him. They don't...
That's kind of the rule of Law and Order. It was supposed to be originally that it's just about the job. We don't really see behind the curtain at like their personal lives. Sometimes we get details here and there.
But then they did break that in the later seasons. So that's why me and Shawna, we're a little biased towards the earlier seasons of just kind of...
Because I find that rule, it kind of, when you do get a little bit of information about their personal lives...
You don't like it.
But it's kind of exciting because it's sort of like a mystery, right?
Oh, yeah, but like when there's like centric episodes and like when you see... Well, sometimes it's okay, but...
And it's kind of like if a show, the focal point was just what happens at work, that's true. Like, some of your personal life, comes out into your work life, but for the most part... You leave that at home, right? Yeah. And so that's what the show's about. So that's why we don't know that much about Deacons. And then we've got a couple other characters.
We've got Carver.
We love Carver.
We really love Carver.
So who's Carver?
So he's their, attorney? He's the legal guy. He's the lawyer.
District attorney, yeah.
That one.
Ronald Carver.
Yeah, and he's so great. He's
great. He's classy. Mm-hmm. He's intelligent.
But he is, he's all about the law. Yeah. He's where the law comes in, and he's not afraid of telling them they can't get search warrants.
Because that's all he cares about is is there enough evidence? Will you get a conviction? Goran and Eames are kind of like, well, we know that he did it, and Carver's like, I don't care. You have to prove it. You're not going to get a conviction. So that's why they butt heads a lot too.
But it's always
congenial,
almost funny.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carver's also very stylish, so he'll probably make our our fashion reel segment one of these times. But so those are the main cast members. There's a recurring role because there's always a murder. Not always, but usually a murder.
Whoa. Are we gonna build up, or are we gonna talk about it right now?
What? I'm talking about the coroner.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
Is that the right word? Or medical examiner?
No, it's Emmy.
Emmy. Okay, and it's Rogers.
Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Rogers.
Oh, Elizabeth Rogers. Very good.
Very good.
Played by Leslie Hendricks.
We just call her Leslie Hendricks. So,
But she isn't in Phantom.
No. How highly irregular.
Highly irregular. It's the only thing that's missing from this episode, like for it to be kind of a just sort of got it all
episode.
Yeah, so that's
and
the show.
she's pretty good. She's kind of like,
I think she's an 8 on the Enneagram. Definitely.
And she gets very annoyed with Goran when he's like always right about something.
So she's a little bit prickly. Would not call her sentimental by any means.
Although, like, I'm not sure how far they get into this because in the later seasons they have new characters and different detectives, and we don't watch those episodes. Yeah. So if you're like really, really big on like Logan and Barrick, maybe don't watch
that's a good point. So this podcast, we're just talking about Goran and Eames.
Anyways, Rogers is like romantically involved with their new captain, Ross.
But yeah, that's much later.
But who cares about that?
Yeah. So that's the main cast. And one of our segments that we're going to do on this podcast, because a great thing about CI is usually like the guest stars.
There's just so many people in every episode.
And there is some just outstanding overacting.
Oh, yeah. No, so how it started was if someone was overacting, I would say, whoa, can we get him his Emmy, please? Like, can we get them an Emmy? And so then we started just, like...
Handing out Emmys.
And, yeah.
And sometimes to make it more of a challenge, I try to limit Annie to just
but it never
Emmy
works.
Per
like,
episode.
I always have to give multiple out.
And sometimes, like, there isn't really an overacting performance. But then other ones is sort of like, well, if we had to choose, like, this would be an impossible choice because
the Emmys are canceled, postponed.
There's so much overacting. So in today's episode of Phantom, are you awarding any Emmys?
I am. An Emmy for Emerson Michael. And he has won an Emmy and has been nominated 3 times. He won an Emmy for Benjamin Linus in Lost.
Yes.
But also... Charlotte.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Fielding.
Charlotte Fielding, right. Charlotte Fielding was also pretty good in that, when they're, like, playing her.
Yeah.
So good. I love that scene.
They sort of set her up because her deal is she's sort of pretending that she's kind of upper class and always has been, when really, she's the sister of this petty criminal.
Yes.
And has kind of taken his money and is now assuming sort of a different identity.
Yes. And so how they play her is they find like an old yearbook and they're just like, oh, they're so good. And they put it, like, they wedge it in between this pile of books just so that where she's sitting she'll be able to read it and see like, oh no, they're on to me. And yeah, they just play her.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny.
So in giving out these Emmys, do you want to just clarify, is this an overacting Emmy or like a real Emmy?
Okay, so for Michael Emerson, it's a real Emmy, but her, I think it would be an overacting Emmy.
Okay, there we go. Very good. And I think it's also important, like, these episodes to sort of recognize what we call the Goran moment. And what that is...
So a perfect example of that is in the credit, or the opening theme, the Goran lean. It's just one of the most iconic things ever. And
can you kind of describe what...
Shawna, I didn't bring my art.
Oh, no.
We're going to have to, like, just edit it in.
Yeah, okay. Annie is an artist, and we like to feature her art on the podcast. But yeah, I guess this is one of those things that people either like or don't like. But one of Goran's interrogation techniques is to sort of like lean his head, almost like he's got a broken neck.
And just get in their faces, too.
And I think it happened because, like, the actor, Vincent D'Onofrio, he's very tall. And
No. What happened in that episode, which is the pilot, the actor wasn't...
looking him in the eye.
Yeah, he wasn't, like, giving him enough to play off of. So...
But I think that's why he has to kind of lower his head to, like, make direct eye contact.
Yeah, and so that's the...
So that's an example of what we mean by a Goran moment.
Yeah, and just, like, things like that. Just, like, things that are so almost, like, annoying and irritating. But it's Goran, so we love it.
It's just classic Goran,
so,
right?
Yeah.
And so what's your Goran moment?
My Goran moment of this episode, we actually had to... I don't know which one's going to be the main one. Because there's two nominees.
Like, it would be nice to sort of pick one and then have an honorable mention. But here it's just a toss-up.
Yeah. So the one thing is just so good. They go into this lady's house, and she lives in the same apartment as Charlotte Fielding.
Yeah.
And she's just making, like, supper. She's
Bouillabaisse.
Yeah, she's just cooking, and they come in. And Goran is, of course, like, oh, this isn't right. And he, like, starts adding things. And
yeah, he's, like, stirring it.
And, like, Eames is so annoyed. She's like, can we just do the job?
Because often the Goran moment is him kind of overstepping, right? Mm-hmm. Either, like, physical proximity, touching people's things, interfering with what they're doing.
Like, breaking things sometimes.
In this episode, both moments, he's actually trying to be helpful. And maybe he is helpful, because this woman is trying to make the bouillabaisse. Her help is away. So he's giving her advice. You just got to reduce the stock, stir it. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's such a good Goran moment. And then another one is when they come to see Jerry's wife.
So this is the first time, and this is actually how they confirm that it's the right house, because they have this license plate, so they're just looking for, like, silver Volvos. And so this is the first time they talk to his wife.
Yeah. And she's outside, she's trying to fix this wind chime.
Because they're kind of tangled.
Yeah, and so they're just talking to them, and then, of course, Goran's really got his eye on it. He's like...
He can't stand it that it's tangled.
Yeah, so he just goes in and he fixes it.
Yeah.
And that's the Goran moment.
And that is just a classic Goran moment. I love it. So that is our Goran moment. But if we're going to have a Goran moment, then we also have to have the Eames one-liner.
Because she's got some pretty good one-liners.
Yeah, so where Goran's strength is, kind of the scene where he, like, figures the person out and gets them to confess. Eames just has some great one-liners.
Yeah.
And so what was it for this
So
episode?
this one, I love this one because, they're, after the scene where they just, like, they just play her. They just play this poor woman. She's like, what did she say?
She says, like, oh, you played me, good cop, bad cop. And then she sort of reverts to her
Brooklyn accent. She's like,
I should have remembered, like, they're all bad cops or something like that. Yeah.
And then Eames looks at Gordon and is like, gosh, she should have remembered. So weird. Like, just so perfect, though. Like, that's just the perfect example. And this episode is actually just, like, such a good episode to get you started.
Very much, yeah. Yeah, so it worked out really well for you.
Oh, but don't we have a
runner-up, too. But I was just going to say it worked out really well for you because, like, that was the first one you ever watched. And looking back now, like, wow, what a great one.
Yeah.
And so you weren't immediately hooked, though.
I strictly stuck to ones with lost people in it. So what did we watch after that one?
Probably the one with John Locke, I think.
No, you wouldn't show me that one for a while.
Because it isn't that great. I can't remember the second one that we watched. But yeah, we started off with just trying to find the lost connections.
And then I was so stubborn, I watched the one with, like, Alex Rousseau from Lost, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Because there was no Goran. He was, like, suspended, and I was like, what's happening? Like, what's up with the theme song? Why does Eames have long hair? Get me out of here?
But I think another thing that drew you in, as I recall, was the theme.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the theme, it only took me, like, maybe 1 or 2 episodes to be like, wow, this is the best theme ever.
And the classic...
Dun dun.
Dun dun. Like,
which SVU stole from Criminal Intent, which stole from the original Law & Order.
Well, it's just part of the trademark, but... Like, Annie always likes to anticipate when it's coming.
And I can never get it right, and I still can't.
Because sometimes it's like, it only is when it's a transition in between scenes, not when there's a commercial. And we watch it, of course, nowadays without commercials, so it's hard to tell. But, yeah, but she's very annoyed when it doesn't happen and the scene doesn't start with
and, like, I say it, like, I'll say, dun dun, but if it doesn't happen...
Yeah, it's kind of just a blooper, so... but we did have a runner-up for the Eames one-liner.
We did. I wrote it down in case I'd forget.
Oh, good.
Yeah, don't worry.
So just to kind of, for background for it, this Jerry spends a lot of time killing time at the, like, greenhouse or whatever.
Yeah, and he said he's, like, been to Kenya.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then... So she says, looks like the closest he's been to Kenya is the African violets.
Yeah.
Which is, like, just so classic.
Yeah, because he spends all his days at this greenhouse. And what about fashion this episode?
We didn't quite decide one, but you can say what you...
I think, like, Charlotte Fielding, because she's supposed to be this kind of high-class executive at Harry Winston or whatever. The scene Annie was talking about where they really play her... she's got a very nice outfit, so that was
I would also mention, I really liked Eames's one shirt. It was like purple and striped.
Right. You did like that.
Yeah.
Yes. So we noted no Rogers this episode, so highly irregular. But let's finish off by just talking about why this is in our top 10.
Well, it is just such a good episode, but also it is because of the sentimental value. Like, with Michael Emerson being in it, with just all the, like, good moments in it. And that it was the first one that I watched.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool that we're doing it chronologically, and this is the first one. And this just happens
to be the first one.
And it's the first one that I watched. So... that's why it's in my top 10. What about you?
So it actually didn't make my top 10, but watching it again today, I just have to agree it is a just top tier episode. Great examples of, like, the great Goran moments, an incredible performance by Michael Emerson. And one thing that really stands out about him, it's similar to his role on Lost. Like, he's playing, in both cases, just pretty bad people. And in this episode particularly, like, what a horrible person. And yet, you kind of feel sorry for him.
Like almost.
Because of just his acting, that you sort of see it closing in on him, and the panic and the fear, and that he's actually really suffering inside. And that he is so delusional that in his mind, he really had no choice. And he was just doing what he had to do.
But my dad said that, like, Michael Emerson is just such a big star now. And they watched Criminal Intent, thought, wow, who's this guy? Like, he's going to make it big.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the first things he's been in.
Yeah, it was the first thing I ever saw.
And then when they started watching Lost, which they loved, it was the guy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, isn't that so cool?
It's just very full circle, yeah. So... that is Phantom. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, how it works, kind of, we both sort of picked our top 10 episodes because there was a little bit of overlap between us. It's going to end up being our top 20, like I said. But this one was on Annie's list. And so I hope you enjoyed our first episode of our podcast and that you will join us next time.
Yeah. And sorry for our, delusions and, just weird things.
Yeah, you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you got used to Goran, you'll get used to us.
We, like Goran, are an acquired taste.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't like the way you worded that.
Well, you know, he is an acquired
Yes, no,
taste.
I understand
That's
now.
what we
I
guess.
understand now.
All right, well, thank you and see you next time.
Bye.